All right, so what's a prognosis on DJ Reed?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's good, everybody? It's another week of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Dery with you on a victory Monday, September 29th and a Tuesday, September 30th. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out to our everydayers, the everyday listeners that watch the pod on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, or subscribe and check us out on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate all of you. Don't forget, we are on Instagram at Locked On Lions. We are on TikTok at Locked On Lions. Detroit, 34-10 winners over the Chicago Bears. Cleveland Browns. Go Browns. Over the Browns yesterday at Ford Field. A lot to get into, including the Pro Football Focus winners and losers, top 5, bottom 5 performers on offense and defense. We'll get into that coming up momentarily. How about some solid news on Alim McNeil? Could the Lions be getting him back sooner rather than later? That would be awesome. We have a call of the day. If you want to be our call of the day, you can be that by leaving us a voicemail at www.speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page, speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. But we start with the news of DJ Reed, Lions' best cornerback, and it's not even close, was carted off the field yesterday, as we all know, with a hamstring injury. Reed was in coverage on a play, grabbed the back of his leg, and Dan Campbell today at his Monday press conference said that Reed will be down, quote, a while, end quote. But good news, you told Clark the good news? The good news is it is not a season-ending injury. From Dan Campbell, quote, he's going to be down for a while, but the good news is it's not season-ending. We will get him back, it looks like. When asked if he would go on the injured list, which would mean he would have to miss at least 4 games, Campbell said, quote, could be, it'll be close, I think. It could be in that range, end quote. All right, so it sounds like, at least from right here, right now, that DJ Reed is going to be missing at least 4 games. All right, and so before we start playing the schedule game and talking about Cincinnati and everybody else at the line, you know, and all the teams coming up on the schedule in Kansas City, whatever it is. All right, let's remember something here. I don't care if it's 4 games. I don't care if it's 8 games. I don't care if it's 2 games. Any games without number 4 out on that defense is a big loss. DJ Reed is hands down the best cornerback on this team. All right, Amik Robertson's playing good football. The rest of the guys is a concern. All right. If you can't tell me Terrion Arnold is not a concern. All right. I see your tweets at Dery Speaks. I see the blue sky messages I get. I call him terrible Arnold. I call him scary on Arnold. I get it. Okay. He's not performed well. And now you take DJ Reed out of the mix and you think, what's next? Because if Reed is out, the Lions have got to replace him in some way at cornerback, and nothing's going to replace Reed. He signed a massive contract this offseason, came over from the Jets, where he's been waiting to really kind of be a number 1 corner. He's kind of been in the shadows of Sauce Gardner over the last couple of years, but this dude can really play. His coverage grade the last 2 weeks has been like a 79. He's been excellent in coverage from PFF over the last couple of weeks. And he signed that big contract this offseason to come to Detroit. And the real question now is, what do the Lions do? Well, first and foremost, Terrion Arnold suffered a shoulder injury in yesterday's 34-10 win over the Browns. And it sounds like, according to Dan Campbell, it's likely he'll miss at least a game. All right, quote, I don't think this is a huge thing with Terrion, but the question is he going to be ready for this week? That would be really the question. And if it's not this week, he should be back by next week for sure. So that's 2 starting cornerbacks or 2 outside corners not available for Sunday's game against the Bengals. Now, Cincinnati will be off a short week. The Bengals play tonight in the second Monday Night Football game. First one's like Jets-Dolphins. Thrilling. And then Bengals at Broncos. Remember, Cincinnati's without Joe Burrow, or Joe Burrow with the injured toe, as he's known in Cincinnati. But right now, you're talking about what's on the roster left is Amik Robertson, who you know is going to play a big role now for a while and is a really good player. Rock Yassin, who's played some safety and some corner, had a really good training camp and preseason for the Leos. Khalil Dorsey, who the Lions have kind of, developed over the last couple of years. Avonte Maddox, the veteran, the Detroit native, the former Philadelphia Eagle, who I think is better at safety than corner, could play there in a pinch. We know Brian Branch has played some corner before. Now, one name to keep in mind. There's two names to keep in mind here that I think the Lions could take a look at. Number one is Stephon Gilmore. Yes, that Stephon Gilmore is still around. He's 35 and looking for a team. He played last year for the Vikings. He's kind of bounced around over the last few years, including stops in Dallas, Indianapolis. But Stephon Gilmore knows how to play. His younger brother, Stephen Gilmore, was on the Lions a couple of years ago, so there's some familiarity there. If Detroit is in the market, Dan Campbell said today he hasn't talked to Brad Holmes about it yet, but if they're in the market for a corner, and Bradford Banta made a really good point on the Lions squad show here on Locked On Lions. Check out the squad show. Bradford said, we got to get Brad back on the show soon on our show. Bradford said that these teams are already on the phones calling agents during games. Like, if a guy gets hurt and a guy's on a cart, Brad Holmes isn't necessarily on the phone, but maybe somebody in the front office is calling an agent going, hey, is your guy available to fly in and do a workout, something like that. Stephon Gilmore is still a serviceable veteran cornerback. That's a name to keep in mind. The other one is, Eric Hallett's on the practice squad, but keep an eye on somebody like Nick Whiteside, who did not make the Lions, did not make the practice squad, and but he's out of Saginaw Valley State. He's a local guy. That's another guy that they could sign. Maybe they elevate Eric Hallett, who had a very up and down training camp, and the preseason games. There were games you watched Eric Hallett in the exhibition season. You went, that guy's got to make the team. And then there's games you watched and you went, that guy sucks. So the Hallett, Gilmore, Whiteside combination is something to keep an eye on when we're looking at veteran players that are out there. Campbell on that discussion today, quote, our next guys up get reps. They get real reps. They get our speed, our work, running our plays. So they're expected to step in and we don't lose a beat. They know that. That's the expectation here. And that's the standard. Whether it's Dorsey or Rock, they're going to be ready to go. They're going to step up. We're not going to miss a beat. That's the whole point. Well, they are going to miss a beat. I mean, what's Dan Campbell going to say? Oh my God, the sky's falling because we lost DJ Reed? No, let Matt Dery say that. Not saying the sky's going to fall, but man, Reed's just been really good. He's just a good player and knows how to play, knows how to just cover people, and he's excellent. I love watching DJ Reed play. He's been tremendous so far. So good news that it's not season ending or there's a tear in there in the hamstring or it's an MCL or ACL or even an Achilles. So that at least is good news. But look, the Lions have been good the last couple of weeks in coverage, and a lot of that is due to the fact they're getting to the quarterback. They had 7 sacks against Lamar Jackson. Boy, by the way, what's up with the Ravens? Whew. They're buns right now. And then yesterday getting after Joe Flacco for 3 sacks, including the strip sack from Aidan Hutchinson. All right, speaking of Hutch, PFF loves them some 97. We're going to get into the PFF winners and losers and the grades. We will do that coming up next. Great news on Alim McNeil as well. I got a couple of other thoughts. Let me just say this right now before I get to the PFF stuff in our first commercial break. I got to say it. Fox Sports, please do something about Jonathan Vilma. Please. He's bad. Kenny Albert's not that good either. All right. I know Kenny Albert's dad is Marv Albert, and Kenny Albert did the Stanley Cup Finals on TNT. He's fine. But that broadcast is just an abomination. And Vilma calling Mahogany, Montgomery, and what was the other one he had yesterday? Is he doing any prep at all? Oh, yeah, the Lions, when they played the Rams last week. No, they didn't play the Rams. They played the Ravens. Like, think before you speak. It's a tough listen. NFL broadcasts normally are pretty good. I know I complain about Romo. I know, and I think, are we getting Tony? No, we're getting Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, I believe, this week. But, like, my gosh, Jonathan Vilma, excellent linebacker with the Saints, really good football player, but just brutal on those broadcasts. This is the NFL, you know? All right, coming up next, let's do some PFF business, shall we? We will do that on Locked On Lions. But first, Locked On Lions brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. Playing PrizePicks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections, Josh Allen passing yards, DeAndre Swift rushing yards. Will he rush for a touchdown? Jahmyr Gibbs catches, whatever it is, you're in the game. All right. What do you love about PrizePicks? It's simple. It's quick. You make your lineup in under a minute. Plus, they just added stacks. So if you want to ride with a player, you can select their passing yards, their rushing yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And Locked On Lions today also brought to you by Rugiet. All right. What do you do when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla? Riding a T-Rex? Confidence? Pure confidence. If you're looking at something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. All right. That's exactly where Rugiet Go Long comes in. It isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual action formula. Right? So you can go the distance. The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rugiet, RUGIET.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you. Matt Dery back with you. It is a Monday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The great James Rapien, the voice of Locked On Bengals, will join us on Thursday as we do the Locked On crossover, working on some other things for this week as well. But the Lions at 3-1 get ready to face the Bengals, who are playing again tonight for Monday Night Football in Denver. Cincinnati currently 2-1, but again without Joe Burrow, and they got absolutely ransacked last week by Minnesota. And the Vikings looked really bad, I thought, over in Ireland this weekend on the Sunday morning game against the Steelers. Pittsburgh hung on and won, played a little bit conservative. By the way, speaking of conservative, what was Matt LaFleur doing last night at the end of that game, the Packers and Cowboys? Like, prevent defense out the wazoo, allowing Dak Prescott to go right down the field, scared to blitz and go get him. And then on offense, they nearly pulled a Caleb Williams on Thanksgiving last year. Jordan Love is lucky that his floater going on to the back of the end zone, the clock didn't hit 0. And they settled for a field goal for McManus to tie the game, and the game ends in a 40-40 tie. So it is your first place Detroit Lions at 3-1, and Peter Bukowski's go pack goes are now 2-1-1. That was a bizarre finish to last night's game. All right. As promised, let's do the business here. It is time for the Pro Football Focus top 5 and bottom 5 Lions from yesterday's 24-point victory over Kevin Stefanski's Cleveland Browns. We start on offense. Let's go with the bottom 5. Let's do top 5 first. 5th highest graded Lion yesterday, and they had to play at least 10 snaps. Sam Laporta, 62.9. Jared Goff, 66.8. Offense didn't have a great day yesterday. Graham Glasgow, third highest grade, 70.1. Good for Graham. He has bounced back after an atrocious first, I'd say 6 quarters of football this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 70.2, and the highest graded Lion on offense. You know him. You love him. Best right tackle in football, Penei Sewell. Bottom 5 Lions from yesterday. I thought his grade would be worse, but it wasn't. 5th worst was Jamo Williams, 47.0. Tate Ratledge, 46.5 grade. David Montgomery, only 20 snaps, 44.6 grade. He only 9 carries for 12 yards. Taylor Decker, 40.4 grade. I think that's a little unfair, to be honest. He was going against Myles Garrett and didn't allow a sack. And then Christian Mahogany had the lowest graded Lion on offense, 39.4 for Christian Mahogany. As far as on the defense, top 5, 5th highest graded player yesterday was DJ Reed, 77.2, including an 81 coverage grade. Trevor Nowaski, 13 snaps, 84.6 grade. PFF seems to love good old number 53. Al-Qadim Muhammad continues to impress, 86.2, 3rd highest on the squad. Jack Campbell, who led the team in tackles, an 89.3 grade, 2nd highest on the team, and the highest, Aidan Hutchinson, another strip sack yesterday and another multi-sack game, 92.6 grade. Wow, 92.6. Pretty impressive. All right, bottom 5 Lions on defense. Roy Lopez, 64.7. Patrick O'Connor had a 60. He started the game actually yesterday at defensive end. Amik Robertson, 59.2. Second lowest, Terrion Arnold, 58.7. It's not been a good start to the year for TA. And the lowest rated Lion on defense was Tyleek Williams at a 49 grade. His run defense was real low, 46.6, but his tackling grade, 67.3, was pretty high. So those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lions on offense and defense from yesterday's victory over the Cleveland Browns. And look, I just, you look at the totality of everything yesterday. It was a good win. Lions needed it, but they could play a lot better. And special teams yesterday was huge. I know Dan Campbell said that in the locker room after the game. Khalif Raymond with the return. Jake Bates hitting a 58-yarder. Jack Fox pinning them deep. Big day for the special teams. Dave Phipps outfit. By the way, just looking at the schedule, the Lions have to go 4 games without DJ Reed. You're talking at the Bengals, at the Chiefs, Tampa Bay, a bye week, and then Minnesota. So 2 quarterbacks there that you are worried about, Mahomes and Baker. I don't know if J.J. McCarthy will be back for week 9 yet. Carson Wentz looked abysmal the other day. And, of course, you got Jake Browning this week. Good news on the Alim McNeil front from Dan Campbell today, which you love to hear. But this week, the Lions' best defensive tackle, Alim McNeil, could open up his practice window and be on the field with his teammates this week. McNeil, of course, tore his ACL last season in December, and most people thought he wouldn't be back until between November 1st, the Minnesota game, and Thanksgiving. Today, Dan Campbell revealed that they could open up McNeil's practice window, which I believe is like 20, 25 days. Campbell said, quote, "We're close on Mac. There's a good chance we may start Mac's clock this week. That's good. We want to make sure we check all those boxes before we say that's what we're going to do for sure. But it's trending the right way. Mac, he's about ready to go, and I think he's tired of training." So again, if McNeil wants to practice this week, the Lions have 21 days to check him out, see if he's ready to go, and then activate him to the 53-man roster. They can do that whenever they want. If he's practicing for a week and he's like, I can play, then awesome. If not, and they use the whole 21 days, the first game he could come back and play in is week 9 against the Vikings. So Last year from PFF, Alim McNeil was 79.6 among defensive tackles in terms of grade. That would be a nice upgrade. Look, DJ Reader is playing pretty well. I like Tyleik Williams, even though didn't grade out great the other day, yesterday, but I like what he's bringing to the table. Roy Lopez is fine. Lions have rotated some other guys in. They're waiting on Pascal, but they can get Alim McNeil back and put him with DJ Reader, and then you mix Tyleik Williams in there as well. I think that would be awesome. They could use that for sure. All right, let's do a little call of the day. Want to be our call of the day? Go to speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. We will do that coming up next. Locked On Lions, everybody, brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. All right. What I love most about the 5 Hour Energy is how portable they are. Just those little boxes, even the little canisters, they're great. Big taste, tiny little shot. You can take it anywhere. Put it in your pocket, get that boost when you need it. All right. Why do we reach for a 5 Hour Energy during the day? You know why. People working long days, you're staring at that screen. You take them because of the portability, the size too. It's all there for you. All right. I love how fast it kicks in. Sugar-free, so you don't have to worry about crashing later. All right. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold. Try something new. In store and online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. And Locked On Lions also today is sponsored by FanDuel. Oh, yes, that is correct. We're here. NFL games are in full swing, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel gives you so many ways to play. Love that same game parlay? Do it. Player props? Go for it. Even follow the live lines during games, and you want to, hedge your bet the second half, whatever it is, on a team you may have at the start of the game, go for it. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Go to FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, we haven't heard from any of our listeners in a while. We love our everyday listeners. We call them our everydayers who check out the podcast daily right here on Locked On Lions. And sometimes we do get the occasional voicemail. Lewis Meeks is checking in. No relation to former Indiana point guard Jamal Meeks. What about former Piston guard Jody Meeks? Am I missing any more Meeks out there? I'll think of one momentarily. But here's our call of the day for today. Lewis Meeks checking in, and he's got a wacky question, but we love these. Let's take a listen.
Good morning, Matt. Lewis Meeks here, Lansing area, subscriber to your YouTube and love your show. Basking in the glory of another great win yesterday. A little bit worried about the concern or the injuries to DJ, of course, but sure was enjoying watching Myles Garrett and Aidan play. I guess what my hypothetical is, just for the fun of it, is like, what would we be willing to give up semi-realistically to bring Myles Garrett to Detroit? I just feel like Garrett and Aidan would absolutely just crush every offensive line, and we would win the Super Bowl. So my hypothetical is to trade 2 first-round picks, Brian Branch and JMO, because we can't afford to pay 2 of the 5 top safeties anyway. So that's my hypothetical, just having a little fun with it, and not sure if realistically it could even fit into the salary cap, but that's the side of you. Hope all is great. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, Lewis. Thank you so much for chiming in. Look, so 2 first-round picks. Let's just have some fun with Lewis here. Feeling good, Lewis. So 2 first-round picks, Brian Branch and Jamison Williams. are going to go to the Browns for Myles Garrett. First of all, I love Myles Garrett. All right. I'm not necessarily going to be doing that. I think that's a lot to be giving up. The Cleveland Browns absolutely need Jameson Williams. Did you see their wide receivers this weekend? Their quarterback's not good either, but I don't know if I'm doing that just from a standpoint of Myles Garrett is in his 30s now. So not sure I'm giving up 2 first rounders and those 2 players. That's a lot. Brian Branch is arguably your best defensive player. Now, Myles Garrett, if he came to Detroit, would be your best defensive player. He got outplayed actually yesterday by Aidan Hutchinson. By the way, how cool was it to see Aidan Huntington for the Browns and Aidan Hutchinson for the Lions? But also, no, Lewis, it would not work from a salary cap perspective. Now, you'd be getting out from underneath the Jameson Williams contract that you just signed him to, and you wouldn't have to worry about extending Brian Branch. But Myles Garrett and Aidan Hutchinson are both going to be $35 to $40 million a year players at the same position. And as Brad Holmes stated, I think at the owners' meetings this summer, it is very difficult to pay 2 edge rushers in the vicinity of $80 million for the season. The Lions have been very calculated how they're using their money. They want to re-sign Aidan Hutchinson. Micah Parsons just broke the bank and became the highest paid edge rusher. So, Hutch is going to go for $40 million, or his agent at least is. So 2 guys making that kind of money just doesn't seem feasible. Would I want Myles Garrett on the Lions? Of course. God, he was a monster to watch yesterday. And I thought Decker and Sewell did a pretty good job on him. Decker's PFF grade was low, but I thought for the most part, they kept Goff pretty clean. I know the first few series, Jarrett was rushed and Garrett was doing his thing, but it's a pipe dream. It's fun to talk about. He's not leaving Cleveland. He demanded a trade. We talked about this all summer. Then he got his money. Don't see it happening. So thank you, Lewis, for chiming in on that. Lions and Bengals. We'll find out what Cincinnati looks like tonight. We'll check them out. We'll be back again tomorrow with a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. Thanks for making this your first listen, everybody. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, I will be at Game 1 tomorrow at Progressive Field. See you tomorrow.